teenagers. Two self-defense claims. Two completely different verdicts. Why? After posting a 60-second comparison of these two cases, more than 28,000 people watched and over 5,000 comments poured in. Some focused on the evidence. Some focused on self-defense. Others focused on race. And one comment stood out above all the others. That comment reminded me why this series is necessary. This isn't about proving one side right or the other wrong. It's about understanding how the law works. Welcome to Crimes Against Us. I'm Sam Michelle Jones. I'm not an attorney, and this video is not legal advice. My goal is to educate by examining court records, statutes, constitutional principles, jury instructions, and publicly available evidence. Because it's not just an attorney's responsibility to read and understand the law. Every citizen should read the law too. One of the most common comments I see is, "You can't compare these two cases." Actually, you can. But first, let's define one word. To compare means to examine both similarities and differences. It doesn't mean two things are identical. To equate means to say two things are the same. Compare and equate are not the same thing. That's where media framing comes in. Headlines shape first impressions. The two cases. Kyle Rittenhouse. In August 2020, during civil unrest in Kenosha, Wisconsin, 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse shot 3 men, killing 2 and injuring 1. He was charged with multiple homicide-related offenses and claimed he acted in lawful self-defense. After trial, a Wisconsin jury found him not guilty on every count. Karmelo Anthony. In April 2025, during a Texas high school track meet, 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony fatally stabbed another student during a confrontation. Anthony also claimed he acted in self-defense. A Texas jury rejected that defense, convicted him of murder, and he was later sentenced to 35 years in prison. The charges. Before we compare self-defense laws, we first need to understand what prosecutors had to prove. Kyle Rittenhouse. 1. First-degree intentional homicide. 2. First-degree reckless homicide. 3. Attempted first-degree intentional homicide. 4. Recklessly endangering safety. Karmelo Anthony. 1. Murder under Texas law. Although the charges were different, both prosecutions required the jury to determine whether the use of deadly force was criminal or legally justified. What is self-defense? To claim self-defense in criminal or tort law, your actions must meet strict criteria. Imminent threat, the danger must be immediate and unavoidable. Proportionality, you can only use the amount of force necessary to stop the threat. Deadly force is generally only justified if you have a reasonable fear of death or serious bodily harm. No initial aggression, you cannot provoke a fight and then claim self-defense. Duty to retreat versus stand your ground, depending on your jurisdiction, such as in specific states in the U.S., you may be required to safely retreat before using force, while others have stand your ground laws that permit you to use force without retreating. Castle Doctrine extends this right to protect yourself without retreating while inside your own home. Self-defense is a legal justification. A defendant generally claims: 1. I reasonably believed I faced an imminent threat of unlawful force. 2. My use of force was immediately necessary to protect myself. 3. My actions were legally justified under my state's law. Once self-defense is properly raised, the prosecution generally bears the burden of disproving it beyond a reasonable doubt, consistent with the law and jury instructions applicable in that jurisdiction. The exact rules vary by state, which will be examined in the next episode. In the next episode, we're going to leave the courtroom and open the law books. We'll compare Wisconsin's self-defense statutes with Texas law. Are they really the same? How do they define provocation? What are the rules on deadly force? And could those legal differences help explain why two juries reached two different verdicts? Throughout this series, we'll examine the self-defense laws in Wisconsin and Texas, the evidence presented at trial, jury instructions, constitutional principles, jury selection, media coverage, and Karmelo Anthony's pending appeal. My goal isn't to tell you what to think. It's to give you the tools to better understand the law. Because justice begins with an informed public. It's not just an attorney's responsibility to read and interpret the law. Every citizen should read the law, understand their constitutional rights, and learn how our justice system works. Don't just argue about the law, read the law. I'm Sam Michelle Jones. Thank you for watching. Divided we fall. Together we're powerful. I'm empowering you to win.